The Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. And in imitation of Christ, we serve others. Well, welcome back to Youth Ministry Insights. We are in season 3. So excited to be bringing you all these cool things about our youth ministries and just my little experiences that I love to share with you. So today we're talking about one of my most favorite topics to incorporate into my youth ministry schedule, and that is service. The idea of serving others. And there's so many different ways you can incorporate service into youth ministry, and you can have a lot of fun with it. But I'm going to break it down to 3 simple ways you can incorporate service into your youth ministry schedule, from being very simple to being very elaborate, and different ways that you could do that. Now, it's important to know that COVID changed a lot of the things we do and how we do it. So I'm going to talk about some of these ideas that were pre-COVID-19 and also some of the ideas on how you can incorporate it now with a global pandemic of COVID-19 happening and taking place, because we don't want to just abandon this whole idea of service because we can't interact the way we used to, or at least right now, but to give you the whole scope of how we can both interact and do things a little bit more at a distance. Okay, so way number 1. Incorporate service by collections. This is the most simplest way, collecting items to be given to other organizations. So some of the ideas are organizations such as animal shelters collecting items like old blankets and towels and some toys, of course treats, things like that, and giving them to a local animal shelter. I mean, who doesn't love animals, puppies, kittens? I mean, it's just a great way to kind of touch on the things that everybody really does love. Another collection that can be done is for the servicemen and women. I know we have had actually members that have graduated from our youth ministry program and went on to serve in the military branches, different branches from Army to Air Force and reserves. And so those that are in boot camp and then all those that are assigned, we love to support our servicemen and women not only with our prayers, but sending them care packages. So we have sent them things like crossword puzzles and a deck of cards, writing them a handwritten note thanking them for their service is another example of collections. Then it's also great to collect for any local food pantries, shelters, and even you could take it a step further with doing collections for the homeless, such as making little care packages or sometimes called blessing bags. So they're putting, and you probably have all seen these before, in a big large Ziploc bag or a plastic bag. We like to use reusable shopping bags because we know the homeless carry a lot of their goods just with them from day to day, all their belongings, all that they own. And so those reusable shopping bags, we like to get them and then put inside a Ziploc bag that has little water bottles, granola bars, maybe a little thing of applesauce if it needs a spoon, things of that nature. And then, of course, that personal written note to say, I care about you. I'm thinking of you. I'm praying for you. I'm here for you. Because that might be the only handwritten note they have seen in many years. They're not getting mail. They're not getting people stopping to write them little cards or notes, little well wishes. So in these blessing bags, put them together. And then I like to send at least one home with each youth and tell them when you're in the city or when you're in an area that you know you have seen people asking for money, give them this bag. Keep it in the back of your car so you're always ready, and hand it out to them. Okay, and then lastly, a collection that we did recently was of cards. And I think this is important, especially more recently in 2019 and 2020, cards to thank teachers and healthcare workers. And this is something we did through the club called The Rock. And The Rock was on a couple episodes ago. I talked all about it. So hopefully you can check that out if you haven't checked it out. But it's all about our Catholic club at a local public high school and giving witness to service that way. So we thanked every teacher in the school with a note, and then also a little piece of candy attached to that note, thanking them for their service as teachers. And now we're currently making ones for all healthcare workers in our local area. So I think it's important to thank these people that serve in our community through this service with their youth ministry. So those are just a couple ways of collections. There's so many others out there that you could do, and other collections for different organizations in your local area. And reach out to different organizations and see their needs and try to fill those needs. Doing collections is such an easy hands-off way to kind of bring your youth and connect them to your local community and other organizations. So check out other collections you can do and try to help those needs out. All right, so way number 2. Number 2 is all about on-campus activities. How can you plug in to your campus of your church and what the different organizations are doing within your church and what is going on within your church that the youth can be visible at and visible serving at. So some of our favorites were our parish appreciation dinner. Every year, the volunteers from our parish would come together for a beautiful evening, an eventful evening of a nice dinner, music, dancing. So the youth, right from when they walked in, opened up the doors to greet them, took their coats and checked them at a coat check. Then they took the food and served all the hors d'oeuvres, served the main dish, and then even put on a little entertainment for them. And so this is a way to connect our youth to our parish leaders, our parish volunteers. We also always served every year our parish area at the Agape dinner, which is where we bussed in our elderly community from local nursing homes and the homebound to come to another sit-down dinner and made them feel really special that they were served by a waiter or waitress taking their meal and serving with a smile for them. We also every year love to put on a volunteer event where we served our community for our Easter Bunny breakfast and our pancake breakfast. It also served as a fundraiser for our youth ministry for the cost of the admission. So our volunteers of our youth ministry would do the crafts. They would help take the photos with Santa or the Easter Bunny. They would put on some of the entertainment there. They dressed up in the different costumes. It was always a lot of fun, and serving the youngest of our church, the little kids, and seeing smiles on their faces always brought us a lot of joy in serving them. And then some of the other ways, we have our carnival every year here. Now, of course, there's many different things we do at the carnival to help make it run. But the unsung heroes of the carnival are the youth ministry leaders who every morning did the carnival cleanup. It was always a lot of fun to start our day with both Mass and then come around the grounds of the carnival after Mass, since it was nice and early. And after daily Mass, we would pick up all the trash from the carnival. Yep, you heard me right. And that is because it was not just all over our parish grounds, trash everywhere, people leaving behind empty popcorn containers and their empty cup of soda that they had earlier in the night, but also walking back to their cars wherever they parked in the blocks around our parish. There was trash there too. So we didn't want our community to feel like we had this parish carnival and now trash the area. So we cleaned it all up every morning for 6 mornings after the carnival. And while the carnival brought in a lot of revenue for our parish, having clean areas cleaned up all around the carnival and the parish streets and the streets surrounding it was a nice way to kind of show our community we care about you too, not just our parish grounds. And then lastly, I like to highlight again something from the Rock is we have our local high school and middle school where the Rock meets. And again, I talked about this on a previous episode, so you can check it all out. But in the school is thousands of kids, right, between our middle and high school, and they each have a locker. And so at each group, the middle school and the high school group, we, for one of our meetings, wrote out all positive messages, and not just really about faith, but just positivity in life, because we understand and also are respectful that not everybody might be into their faith there at this school. So we as a club wrote out positive, affirming messages on Post-it notes. And then at the next meeting, we took all of those Post-it notes and put them on the hundreds and hundreds of lockers throughout the middle school and high school, so that the next morning, when those students came in, they came to their locker with a positive message to start the day. That was amazing. Such a surprise for these students to see them so well received. And we didn't just do it on the lockers, we did on every teacher's door as well, so that everybody at that school got a positive, affirming message the next morning after our meeting. So these are just a few ways of doing what I like to call on-campus service. No permission forms required, no transportation really other than to their local church or their school that they're at. And they just really go over well. But this leads me to my last way. Way number 3, off-campus service. Now this can be the most trickiest and the most to coordinate between driving, permission forms, and organizing it all. But they are some of the most rewarding ways to serve. So first, a fun way that we like to do this service is do a river cleanup. We have a kayaking river near us, which we go kayaking on every year. And I was offered the opportunity to go for free with my youth ministry as long as we cleaned up the river. So we take bags and fill up with garbage as we clean up the river. We're not only helping our world and our environment, but we are having a lot of fun while doing it in kayaking. Another way that we love to serve is at our local Ronald McDonald House. Ronald McDonald houses are all over and you can find your local one near you. We are the Ronald McDonald House of Southern New Jersey in Camden. And so we go there, we cook a meal first. So it's a lot of fun to kind of learn to cook a little bit. And then we serve this meal to all the guests staying there. And then after the meal, we sit down with the guests and we do a little activity or craft. We especially like to cater it towards the young people there. And some of these kids are beautiful to see. They're going through different treatments, different surgeries, and their strength is inspiring to see. Our youth always love to go to the Ronald McDonald House and serve. And then we've also taken it a step further to go to a local pediatric community, which is basically like a local nursing home for children. These children are there 24/7. So in our service to them, just being a smiling face, bringing in a fun craft that's different for them to do in their rec room. We've also have dressed up in elf costumes and Santa and Rudolph and sung Christmas carols to them. Bringing a smile to their faces surely does touch their hearts. And then lastly, the biggest way that has touched our youth's hearts is serving the homeless right there, meeting them where they are. And what I mean is, we met at a train station in our local area that went into Philly. And we took the train into Philly, and we had a friend with us that this is his regular commute to work. So he knew the route, he knew the people. He served them on his own, and we came to help him. We had brought those blessing bags that we made one of our youth group nights to the homeless and delivered them one-on-one ourselves. And let me tell you, seeing where they sleep, seeing where they live, seeing all that they have, their houses made of cardboard boxes, barely having a blanket or a sleeping bag, delivering these blessing bags truly, truly, truly touched our hearts so deeply and really did touch our souls. These youth were changed forever. And it wasn't easy because we had to wake up like 4 a.m. to get there before they're kicked out. So knowing that we're a lifeline for them, bringing them a sandwich that day, bringing them a meal inside those blessing bags, truly is service at its best. So I always like to tell the youth when they do service, they are Christ's hands and feet on this earth. And so being his hands and his feet in service and bringing that to our youth and showing them that this can be done. We can change the minds and hearts of so many through just witnessing to our faith through service. It's truly an experience they won't forget. So incorporate service into your ministry schedules any way you possibly can in these 3 ways that I showed you today. God bless.